How did this, church singing boy end up finding himself in this environment which was the birthplace of house music?
By 16, I left home because, like, just the gangs and a lot of the violence that came with those areas. I left, and I think I got two jobs at the age of 16. Which was fortunate and lucky, and I got an apartment then, and I didn't even have the full money or nothing. They didn't know my proper age or nothing.
Right.
Again, I probably was saying I was 19 when I was 16. False IDs were all over the place.
It must have been very exciting being that age and having that freedom.
Yeah. And to just break away from that and go up north and start meeting people. And I met people that knew about the music box and places like this. And then they got me down there, and I seen this whole nother life of these caricatures of people, how they dressed, and it was just like being in some kind of fantasy land, and it's like, I was like, oh, this playing, I was like, I could do this, I'm sure I could do this, and I had already been DJing for like, at an early age, for like block club parties, even gangbangers and stuff. I had been playing, they would ask me to do the music. Back before, even when the mixers first came in, I remember like one turntable and a blue light in the basement. And we were charging people like $5 to get into the basement parties. I'd play a record, take it off, they talking between the records, then I put another record on and they start dancing. So it was something there, even for people that were around me, that kept pushing me towards music. And that evolved to like university parties, then to pubs, and then to little local clubs and stuff. People would hire me, and it was something there, and I started putting my voice on cassette tape and playing it over some of those disco records. And it's like, oh, who is that? And I was like, you think he sound all right? And I was like, that's one of my friends. It's like, he got something there.
I think you're quite sort of unique in many ways because your message has always been so positive. Your songs have always kind of dealt with redemption, loneliness, forgiveness, growth, personal growth, changing, all of these things. And
I think a lot of that, when you meet and talk to people in conversations, you find that that's a lot of what's happening right here on the surface, on the organic surface of life. It's not all of this fantasy type vibes, my bling bling and all whatever's happening, on the surface of what you hear most of the time in pop. That's not normal reality for a lot of people. So why not express some of what people are going through in normal reality? Often some of it is conveyed across almost melancholy, but then there's a turn within the twist. There's always a twist somewhere saying that you can come out of that. But the truth is that a lot of people are on that level of melancholy, sadness, dealing with a lot of that in life. And to hear somebody saying that they understand that and they went through the same thing, but I came up out of it. You can't come up out of it. It's all a sense of thinking and constantly looking up and focusing on something above that. And you will come up out of it. A lot of the things that I really enjoyed and liked, prelude, salsa, West End records, we could have never afforded that kind of production that you heard on these things, so you getting a basic drum machine and a mic, and in a living room like this, we got a little setup here, me and you, we got a setup, and I'm just singing into a mic. Even one track, I'm singing and the doorbell ring. But it's just a single tape running, so we can't redo that because we done made it up right there, and it ain't no re-recorded. And it's like, okay, well, leave it in, and we play it. Give it to Larry Levan on a cassette deck, and he plays it off a cassette in the Paradise Garage, and the doorbell ring, and the people, ow! They like that. And we all paranoid sitting there saying, oh, they gonna hear the doorbell ring. They think it's an effect. So it's like, you flow with the blessing and say, just be grateful. and you keep going, and you give as much as you can give.
And what record are you talking about there?
Bring Down the Walls.
Bring Down the Walls. When did you start becoming aware that these people, these luminaries, were playing your records out in New York? Stuff. How did it happen?
They called us and then asked us to come and play at the Paradise Garage, and then again I started just hanging in New York because they would ask me to come up there. I remember times just sitting there talking to Larry, even when he wasn't even playing in the garage at other clubs. Danceteria, just standing there in the hallway talking to him, and different people. I remember experience with Sylvester, a bunch of people, and just coming up. Lolita Holloway, Jocelyn Brown, Grace Jones, a lot of people that, you know, I come up with, and just talking to these people. And by me being kind of quiet and just observant, people in dressing rooms really felt easy, like just speaking to me. And it's like a lot of these memories you just cherish, and you're like, that's a blessing that you just sat and had conversations with a lot of these people, and it was so calm compared to the characters that you see, or the personas that you see that people think are up there and out there, and wow.
In terms of going to places like the Paradise Garage and stuff like that, was there a sense at the time that this was something special? Because, you know, everyone's now just like, oh my God, it was the greatest club in the world, and, you know, there'll never be anything again like it. Well, I mean, did it feel like that at the time?
I think for me, I thought the world was like a candy store. So everywhere I went up, I was probably just this little wild, happy spirit, just happy to be anywhere outside of where I came from, what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
To just be outside of that and seeing this whole new world, you know, that I never expected that I would make it out of, you know, this urban kind of environment where I was growing up in, where everything was controlled, and it was almost like you were locked in a prison, physically and mentally. So to just get out of that, you know, it's like I'm just a happy spirit bouncing around everywhere. And it's like even in the performance stage, after I felt people like me and I felt like I was drawn into a family, I would just perform and do things. You know, I remember in the garage just like thinking about people like James Brown, anybody that I really enjoyed, Patti LaBelle, Michael Jackson. I was like, what would they do here? Maybe let me just fall down on the floor or something, really try to get emotional. And I would do little things like that in the crowd. And it just made me happy that I tried things. And like I said, it felt like a family. So I'm like, they're not gonna...
You felt comfortable?
Yeah, I felt comfortable where they're not gonna have a negative attitude towards me, because I come out of a situation in the family environment where it was negative, where it was constant, you'll never do nothing, you'll never be nothing. I constantly heard that from different angles in the family environment. So to escape that, whole new world, you know, and I felt comfortable.